Hey guys, welcome back with another video. It's Linksy. How are you all doing? Today we have an interesting battle. It's a battle on the Espolis. It's a 3v3. There is Average in defense, Boyai, and Massacre. I think this is T and Ian over here. This is myself, and we're fighting against three. We're fighting against Carthage, Egypt, and the Seleucids. Now, I just want to talk about this video. You've already seen it. It was on my live stream, and it is a particular interesting one because I just get going. I deploy my entire army in front of his base, in front of his forces, and I just charge in. I go straight for his artillery with my Numidian riders over there. I charge in with my Numidian light infantry, peppering down his Syrian archers, giving him a lot of pain, and I am just charging in. The elephants go into my cav, but really and truly that's not going to help them. I'm just charging in over here. These hillmen are surrounded, and I get into the sides of those troops. He does put his pikemen up instantly, and oof, it's an instant bloodbath. But what is this? This is the meta by Numidia that I go with. This is what I play with. I go 16 Numidian light infantry, I go 2 Numidian noble cavalry and 2 desert cohort, and the results are amazing. Pilaing those Turks in the back. The general over here is going to get another Pila, and he's going to go berserk. Elephant general's going berserk into his own troops, and bye-bye Seleucids. I'm getting my troops over on that side. I have some troops here. I have a lot of reserves, and his army is very much on the defensive. My artillery is going hammering into those sides. His citizens and cavalry might do some damage, but really and truly it's not going to be that much. The elephant is doing ridiculous amounts of damage against his own troops over here. These guys are just melting underneath this swarm of artillery and elephants. And I'm charging in with more of my Numidian light infantry. They're getting a little bit hammered. The elephants do get a few kills, but really and truly, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Trying to micro as best as I can. Pila's being thrown everywhere. I do get some units behind the lines over here, and I found a gap, so I just run straight through the gap over there. And over here, as you can see, he's finally being broken. His elephant's 140 kills, but look at the massacre that there is on the land here. It is a bloodbath. And to be honest, I haven't lost much. He's already down 4 or 5 units, and I lost maybe 1 or 2. My cavalry coming back around this way, and I'm charging into his Syrian heavy archers. Hopefully get more value out of them. These guys, the Numidian riders, they aren't the best unit, but they are so good with regards to shock and all that they'll do a lot of damage in that regards. I get my Numidian light infantry into his Syrian heavy archers over there, and together these guys are about to break. His elephants do finally run away from the mess and are running after my routing units, and I'm trying to charge them, trying to get another Pila throw, trying to kill as much as possible. This guy got most of the Pila. He died, and he's coming back into formation. He's finally calmed down, but it is too late. These forces have been taken down. Looking at the other side, this battle hasn't even started, okay? And I will discuss, while this battle starts, I will discuss what the hell happened here. Being able to deploy your army so far forward, and having Numidian light infantry, which have ridiculous stats. You pay 360 gold, you have 45 armor, 47 melee defense, 32 melee attack, 35 weapon damage. They have 3 Pila, guerrilla deployment, and resistance to heat. They can also hide in most locations. Just gives you incredible value for money. Then you support it with 2 units of Numidian noble cavalry, which have really good missile damage, 41 missile damage. You have 7 of those, and then you have 65 melee attack. You can run around with your light infantry, which is medium melee infantry itself, but it runs around really well, and it is capable of flexibility that you wouldn't normally have. Oh, I see why the half of that unit died so quickly. I charged straight into pikes over there. I lost a lot of units for free, but this is what I mean. I charged straight into pikes. I only lose 30. Like cavalry charging straight into pikemen. Come on. Now these pikemen are getting surrounded and they're not gonna live for long. Troops are dying left, right and center. I finally cleaned up over there. The general is still alive for the most part, but he's running away over there. He's trying to save those Syrian archers, and at this point the guy was raging. It's like, oh, you don't know how to play this game, oh, cheater, oh. And really and truly, I have defeated his entire army and I lost maybe 20% of mine. And this is in the first 5 minutes of the game. This is a massacre in the first 5 minutes of the game. And now these two are going to have to fight a defensive battle against everything we have. And I mean, the Boyai and the Afarachi themselves can deal with this force. But if you're fighting with randoms, and luckily for me, I wasn't fighting with randoms, I was fighting with people that are decent, very good actually, on defense. I can now bring my army back into the city, put it to rest, maybe mount a defense over here, or, as in this case, prepare to do another assault. So I'm just bringing my troops in. My artillery, by the way, didn't do that many kills. It got 36 kills in total, but it did help to break the morale quite further. The troops over here, I mean, some of them having ridiculous amounts of kills. This one 114, 85, 90, 91. So they did do really relatively well. Plus the remainder of those Torok swordsmen. Yeah, some of them doing really well, with good value for money, considering the units I was killing. Most of his army did break and run away, but that is the case. Over here, these units teleporting up this hill, and I always find this ridiculously funny. They fall, and I think they actually do get slightly damaged, but I need to test that out. This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious, honestly. They just look at them. Look at them go. Just what the hell is happening here? Oh, he got teleported back. They keep getting teleported. These guys standing over there. Yeah, I don't know what the hell is happening with these men. Okay, they're finally going down. There is quite a decent amount of men stuck into that wall. They're slowly moving out. There's noble fighters over there. How's the fight going on this side? I mean, Carthage is doing really well. It's taking the walls, it's breached the walls along with Egypt, and now they're assaulting here. They're getting archers into position. They're putting pressure on those Scutari, even though there's a lot of those Scutari to cut through. And Scutari are another decent melee, melee unit. They're 60 defense and 60 armored, should make them heavy melee, but as it stands, they're a really good melee unit. Oh man, cup of coffee in the morning, best thing. Carthage's units are, Semite warriors, Iberian swords, and there's some Torok swordsmen as well. I believe there's some Libyan infantry as well, somewhere, someplace. There's some Libyan infantry back here, quite a number of them actually, and the Cretan archers. Honestly, 2 Cretan archer units being over here should be shooting in those Iberian swords, and maybe even in these Celtics, breaking down that unit as effectively as possible. This Celtic warriors is charging the Egyptians, pushing forward, but it's going to get slightly surrounded from the sides, and that might not be the healthiest thing it would do. But the fight is going good. But what is problematic for them is the balance of power is already so much in our favor, and my main force is slowly trudging its way across the river. My cavalry is coming around the side, and at this point I am asking my allies, prepare to sally out. Egypt gave up on breaking through the gate. He saw that there is Oathsworn, and he's like, nope, I'm not going through 2 units of Oathsworn. 2 units of Oathsworn, retrospectively, he should have sallied out instantly, not when I arrived. I do have my forces over here as well, my desert cohort. Question, do they still have... Yeah, my troops got stuck into the wall here. Completely stuck into the wall. So I have... That's quite a significant amount. It's 3 lines of troops. Yep, 20 units over there easily. stuck into the wall, unfortunately. Now, what can I do in this case from my end? Not much for now, till my army gets back in the city, which it is slowly. But eventually we'll be able to get in and see what happens. But again, I wanted to showcase this video because I think this is a really cool meta that can develop from the Numidians. I call it the Numidian tactic. It can be done with other factions, but with Massacre it works best because of their heavy armor and their guerrilla deployment with horses as well, which give you that little bit extra shock factor, as the horses is usually what people focus on first, especially light shock cavalry. People just go crazy on that shit, and when that is done, you're faced with a massive horde of just infantry just charging in, throwing a spila, and defeating them. Attack is the best defense, Alexander the Great is famously known as saying, and this is a clear distinction of that. It's a very clear part of that narrative that attack is indeed the best defense, and that's the best way of dealing with this would be through a horde assault, basically. Over here, the Taurus spears actually are charging in. They're fighting with the Semites against the sword followers. This is basically a grind. The Balearic slingers over here will get decent amount of kills. They're shooting in. They should really be targeting that general. There are some Celtic wars where I always forget if you can or cannot put units in this little thing, because if you can, it is ridiculously strong in terms of targeting down all of these units. This slugfest over here is being pretty much won by the defense, as the Balearic slingers over that overlap is painful. But ooh, these guys are shooting into the backs of their own allies. That's a lot of friendly fire that you don't want at that point. Taurus swordsmen are being pulled back as they were being massacred by the Scutari, who do have a decent wait, let's see, Scutari, we see, wait, weapon damage. They have 5 armor piercing, which is 1 more than the usual, so they'll, that little extra does help. Instead of hitting you 5 times, they'll hit you 4 times and do the same amount of damage. I have my Numidian cavalry back here, quite open. He's very much not aware of it yet. Both of them are not aware of my troops. They haven't placed their troops as a way to target them. Taurus swordsman over here, yeah. Now this is where they noticed, and I must say, Carthage especially was a really good sport. I think he joined the Discord, so we'll see if he actually wants to play a few more games, because it was quite fun and quite an enjoyable battle as well to do. Numidian bowmen over here, they're not really getting very good value for money. It's good that the Balearic slingers were pulled back, but again, they could be doing ridiculous damage on this blob. Scutari being used really aggressively over here. They're taking down the Taurus swordsmen and the mercenary Iberians from the back. Being attacked in the rear is putting these Iberians at 130 men about to break. Ooh, that is brutal. That's going to be a bit of damage. The Carthaginian player did notice and did charge the Scutari over there, and that's going to cause a little bit of a problem with regards to the health of those individuals. Taurus spears are there. Still over here, there is no interest in actually swarming the city or setting up a defense against what I have. I don't know what happened here with these Oathsworn. These Oathsworn were about to charge, were about to throw their Pila in, and he decided to pull back. When you're in that situation, my man, just keep charging in. He lost a few units, few good units there for free. And Oathsworn will hold on for a while against these truck swords. Actually, really and truly, this is going to win. It's going to massacre those troops. And he finally realized his mistake and is charging in. Because we would have sandwiched, and this unit would have already been broken by now. While this is happening, I am running out with my desert cohort, and these guys getting a really good side charge into those Taurus swordsmen. I come back in for another rear charge, and this is going to be brutal. That's what I mean. That's what I wanted to do earlier, which didn't happen. I was going to be the anvil to the Oathsworn but it didn't happen. I'll cycle charge in a few times, but that unit is pretty much dead. Losing decisively, and this unit's over here. One of them already broke. This Oatsworn is already 120 kills. Ooh, but lag spike. Oh boy. Okay, welcome back. Desert cohort is doing really slowly. Like, it will do really well in battle. Its stats are similar to the Boyai Oatsworn. Costs much less, but then it has less armor, less health, and less functionality. That headhunt is really important. There's Thorax Swordsman, just a couple of charges taken out, and over here these guys are getting slaughtered. The 158 kills and 40 kills, but barely losing anything. So while all of this is happening, my Doom March is coming along. These guys are ready. They fought, but they're still ready. They're very tired because I forced march them across the battlefield a few dozen times. Oh man, didn't even notice this happened again. Yeah, over there I need to be more careful. I need to make sure units path from over that side, because this is going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. Pathing issues are always a problem in Rome. And at this point I'm telling them just attack and be aggressive. The Veraci player has lost most of his army to this extent, but the Boyai player still has almost all his troops. He still has Levy Freemen, Sword Followers. Yeah, he still has a lot. And really and truly all we need to do is just surround this and take it out. So I'm just taking out my troops. I'm organizing my forces and getting ready to charge into this blob. But then at first I was like, okay, I'm gonna charge in with these guys, and oh no, let's bring all the boys home. Now unfortunately this unit over here, 159, is stuck in the wall. I don't know exactly what happened. Could also be a replay bug, because sometimes they do tend to happen. But I'm bringing all my doom blob of Numidians out, and let's see how that goes. Over here, these Samite warriors are slowly cleaning up the noble fighters, which are holding the line. I mean, they got decent kills, but these noble fighters could have done much better. They're getting slowly peppered down from the sides. These Numidian bowmen should be doing much more than they are. They're shooting down these Celtic slingers. I'm not sure why they got just Celtic slingers and Balearic slingers. He should have gotten Celtic bowmen. Even with their short range, could have done a lot of damage, especially since we had 4 Balearics already in the mix. Troops are being pulled out of the city, and this is their final stand. They've set up their walls now. Their Libyan infantry are set. There's a pike wall to the side, Taurus spears supporting that pike wall, Royal Peltas. Everyone is ready and in position. These pikemen could honestly be placed even in front there. It wouldn't have been an easy break if that was the case. Not that it was an easy break, to be honest, actually, because it was getting interesting. Again, now this is where the metagame happens, and the chat was offering me subscribers for every single unit that I sacrifice. Basically, Carthage's friends were being interested in getting my YouTube channel to be memed, so they asked me that for every subscriber I sacrifice a unit, and we're making the deal right now at this point where my units are selling out once again into the breach. As I think it's King Richard the Lionheart. Once again, it's a breach. I have no idea, don't remember. So as you can see, most of my forces, they're in decent shape. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty much full strength, and then I have 3 or 4 of them which are medium strength, and 3 of them which, yeah, I'm splitting them at the point in time. This one is just stuck back here, and the desert cohort as well, which is really irritating to see. But yeah, I mean, these Cretan archers are the biggest problem that I have, because I cannot really deal with that many missile units at this point in time. Now, I must point out that unfortunately for the Carthaginian player, his unit glitched out and the wall over here was acting really weird. It could mostly do with the fact that this wall did not collapse, and hence why his units were taking forever to get into the city. Sometimes it happens when you half break a wall, the walls to the side of it get quite funny to move through. The units pretty much point blank do not want to go through the walls. These Barrack Slingers doing really good damage over there. The Noble Fighter seems to have been broken, almost not broken, they've been pulled back. Scutari over here is getting to wipe up the rest of that, and they're about to break through. There's only a few units left from Egypt. In fact, Mercenary Samite Warriors are being brought in for reserves, and they're about to fight that, and my force out here is ready to swing the Banhammer in. The hammer of doom and justice, and they do get out of position over here, as I think he's trying to get through the wall. Oh, I'm not sure what he's doing. This unit is gonna kind of... Oh, wow. Okay. What are they doing? They're just stuck there. I think he's also trying to get in from over here. The tortoises do not make it easy to get in. They did... They still had the tortoise over here. Yeah, they still could have used this tortoise to break down that wall, which would have really helped their cause, honestly. They do start breaking through over on this side. I must say that both of my allies are running low on troops at this point in time. They still have some Scutari, they still have some Noble Fighters, and some troops. But they went in a long drawn-out battle with Egypt and Carthage, which is not always a good idea. Their main force of Boyai and of Feraci is to swarm, because they have really good fighting potential, but they need to be attacking from all sides, maximizing that. Whereas the high armor and melee defense of Carthage and Egypt do help them to perform better in longer drawn-out battles. That's why they are often prepared. At this point, I'm finishing my encirclement of the battlefield and I'm preparing to charge in. He realizes this, and the Carthaginian player just starts preparing his last stand, where they're trying desperately to get their units inside the city. These Celtic warriors are getting peppered slightly by those Carthaginian barrack sliggers, who are doing a really good job from up there, getting some really valuable kills. The Numidian bowmen are a bit too overlapping over here, so they will not be able to shoot properly into this mess. Those barrack slingers are really down, they've been really damaged. Blobbing does never work, just keep in mind, overlapping missile units is a bad idea, especially with melee forces. It might give you a little bit extra missile block chance, but it's not worth. Like, it's genuinely not worth. At this point, my forces are pretty much completing their encirclement. He starts coming forward slightly with his Cretan archers, so we start playing the dance of moving back and forth with my troops. I just so triggered about this. I really would have needed that unit. That's pretty much a full health unit as well. I think these are my desert cohort here. Yep, they are over here. Doing quite well, I must say, because they are quite fresh. And this is the final situation. I'm just trying to look for a weakness in his defense over here, as you know, once the situation escalates, I would need to find a way to break through this. Cretan archers. Now, I'd rather break through it without having to fight these Libyan infantry head on. Now, I'm not sure what he was doing with these flanking maneuvers over here. I think he was trying to just push more units in, and they were trying to break through this as fast as possible. Maybe close me off from the gates and not allowing me to get back in, but the remainder of the reinforcements go in for Avarachi. Also, pro tip, always keep your generals close to your men. Your generals have abilities, they have really good abilities, and they need to be used on your men. It seems Boyai didn't even bring general abilities in this case. Just make sure you always have your abilities, place them near your men, and just cycle in and out, give them boosts, give them morale. It does help and makes your units fight longer, fight harder, and fight better. It's something that people don't often realize. Your general is a really strong unit and you should really use him. It's not going to fall over unless you have some general's bodyguard like Carthage, which is quite shit, to be honest. But then again, it's quite fast, so it gives you that maneuverability that one would need. And these sword followers are going to win against those Turok swordsmen, but at what cost? Now these guys could potentially break in and get these Numidian bows. The Carthaginian player didn't really use his missiles at all, and he left his missiles way too far too late. Like 2 units of Carthaginian archers, or Cretan archers, sorry, over here would have eased the problem that they had over here, and they would have really won easily. I would have had to defend last stand rather than actually this attack on their force, which again, in retrospect, we get to see things they don't get to see during the game. Having been really irritated by the glitch of this wall, it does make a big difference for anyone who's playing. He is already focusing with some overarching fire with these barrack slingers, 255 kills. Some Numidian bowmen up here could have done really well against anything pretty much down there. Scutari being broken by these Torok swords. And these Torok swords over here, and Samite Warrior is doing a lovely job in carving a path through. Now finally the Numidian bowmen are in proper formation and they can shoot properly over there. Torok swordsmen moving in. These sword followers pull out, and more troops are being brought to the fore. The Oathsworn over here, one of them I think was sent back inside. Yeah, the 247 kills on that Oathsworn was being sent back inside. And at this point I think I caved into the... Yeah, I've caved into the subscriber account. I was getting subscribers sent in, so I had to start sacrificing in it. But listen, you never give anything for free. So what I know he has is missiles, and I'm gonna make bloody sure his missiles don't kill my man. So I'm just moving in my forces in ready, and even though I'm gonna sacrifice 2 units, I'm gonna make sure my forces are ready to fight and support that. I'm circling in and I'm preparing to tighten the noose. He's shooting at my man over there, and I'm gonna start doing this. This is what you do to dodge missile shots. You start clicking there. The moment they start attacking you, which is usually very, very close to when you're doing this, especially with regards to these Libyan infantry, right? See, a lot of their pila actually are missing. A lot of their missiles are actually missing. Not as much as I would like, because of course these aren't cavalry, but if you do this with cavalry, you can easily waste all the pila. These units, and keep in mind, all of these Libyan infantry just have 1 pila, and these guys have 2 pila, and these guys have 2 pila. I'm doing the same thing with this another Numidian light infantry. He's shooting at me with his Cretan archers over there, and I'm actually dodging most of those shots, and it's being just a nuisance and pain in the ass. He does have some pila left over there that's gone, and my unit's broken. So I sacrificed 3 units, and now I just charge in. I know I've pretty much weakened his center a lot. Without the pila, those units will not be as strong. His archers are now shooting at my desert cohort, and I just charge in. Now I wonder if these men get loose. No, they do not. Pain in the arse. So I'm just charging in with everything I have and preparing to do as much damage as I can. My forces actually get to the side of this, and these Libyan infantry, I flank also these guys and get into those Cretan archers. Those Libyan infantry over there not having a good time. I send in my desert cohort into the flank of this, taking out those archers as it goes along. My cavalry over here, the Numidian noble cavalry, is going to charge into this Libyan infantry, and then I'm going to disengage by... So the way you're going to attack these Cretans is without... This is not pulling through, right? What you do is you charge into there and you disengage, and you charge straight into there, and it just does miracles in terms of damage, because you're stopping these Cretan archers from firing, and it's just going to do a wonderful, wonderful thing. Now this desert cohort should be able to charge in there, sending as much troops as I can. My general is coming in. Straight charge into these Libyan infantry. They did get a really lovely pila in. These guys charge in. I'm breaking this Cretan archer unit very fast over there. and I charge this one over here, because if I break this corner, these guys are completely open and susceptible to my attacks. My desert cohort are doing a beautiful job there. My Numidians are going in the city, and the Oathsworn have joined in the fight, and all of a sudden Carthage is losing the majority of his reserves in a flash. His troops barely getting any kills. I mean, considering what I've sent against them, his Cretan archers did nothing, and his Libyan infantry, for their cost, are not doing very well. Again, they're fighting depleted units. They're fighting really weak and depleted units, so it's interesting. The barrage slingers kind of come out. My Numidian noble cavalry is doing whatever it can. My general is just throwing his units around. I'm trying to get my units inside the settlement, but it's not really working. So that I kind of understood his problem. Over here, the Egyptians are actually doing a massive push to try and break through, because if they do break through, they have a good chance of swarming over there with what they have remaining, even though what they have remaining isn't that much. Ian is being very passive as usual. He tends to have a really good starting strategy, but then towards the end of the battle, he kind of gets distracted by what's happening. So if I can give you a hint, Ian, like, for just to improve your playstyle, be a little bit more map aware and active with your troops, because it does help you. Like, you know, if you grabbed all of these units and placed them here in a kill box, you would have done a lot more damage to this blob. Just lure them in and would have killed a lot more. Don't wait for your unit to start dying out before you take action. Over here, I wipe up the last of the Libyan reserves. These guys, I mean, they did okay, but my troops kind of just ripped straight through them. They, like, completely surrounded. There's much they could have done. These guys are being attacked in the rear. My Numidian life forces are just 250 kills over here, 219. My general is 183 kills. It was a massacre. My unit over here is got slaughtered while charging into the African pikemen over there. Actually, okay, so these guys are actually here, so that's half of their unit stuck back there. The Libyan infantry broken. Better X-Slingers are fighting for their life, and there is a lot of troops over here which are a pain in the ass. Now, even here there was a point, I think, when, yeah, so I charge in and I do the same thing. Now, the problem with this is that there is a gap here, so I do the same thing, and this is just to, you know, show these little tips and tricks which might look as if they are pull-throughs, but they're not. They're simply just you know, units charge in over there, they smash into those Libyan infantry line, and then I disengage, and by disengaging I just sent 1 or 2 units to attack the rear of this African pikeman, and that is just enough. See, I'm not pulling through the unit, I'm just simply sliding my unit across and getting the African pikemen over here to get attacked in the rear, and it just does enough damage that their morale actually plummets down slightly, and you get to kill a few dozen of them. Which is really important in this case. He does not notice. No, he does notice over here. It takes him a while to notice, but he starts charging in my unit from the rear, but the damage is done. I've killed a few of his men, and being attacked in the rear is a really bad morale debuff. The barrage slingers over here are done. I am just going around cleaning up shop over here, trying to get army loss penalties to go as fast as possible, or as some people would say, escort the units as fast as possible. The Libyan infantry over here is being a stubborn little one, and Averachi player actually sends in his noble fighters general. He's in the middle of all these missiles, and this is pretty much GG. The pikemen over here are getting peppered down by the Oathsworn, and the basically these 2 Oathsworn units are just doing a beautiful job over there. I'm not sure why these Oathsworn pulled out, because he should have really just kept capping the arrow tower over there. He's given the pikemen the opportunity to cap it and start doing damage to our forces once more. He has a tendency of just retreating when there's fight. You need to be bold. You need to be a bold fighter. Now, at this point, there isn't much left. It's just cleaning up the remnants of the army. We outnumber them quite heavily, and our forces are doing very well. Peel out being thrown by the Scutari. General is trying to do something, but there's not much they can do. The pikemen are actually going to lose in a fist fight against the Oathsworn, even though the Oathsworn are going to take some losses in doing so. And I think army loss penalties should be hit any second now. Any second we should see it. This is a really good column formation by the Scutari, charging into these forces, forcing the Libyan infantry to get surrounded, and that is going to make the Libyan infantry a little down. Desert cohorts as well, they're still quite healthy and it's done a lot of damage. 178 kills, losing 26 men, and they were fighting Libyan infantry, so just keep that in mind. My general is ready. And I think this is the last unit they have which has decent forces. These Numidian bowmen still have missiles, but my desert cohort finally make it through. I think I needed to do column formation to be able to cut through that gap easily. They charge in and they're just going to have a lovely time there. I charge in my Numidian horse as well, and they are going to get kills on these Numidian bowmen. So it's going to be a... Nubian, sorry, not Numidian, Jesus. Nubian bowmen, but these guys are routing and army loss penalties are triggered, and it is not pretty. My calf charge into the rear of the pike unit over here, not doing very well. Army loss is just a pain in the ass to deal with. See, that charge gave me like 50 kills straight off the bat, and we just know it's a free-for-all, we all charge in. These Royal Peltas could have done a little bit better as well. But this game was all based on the fact that I sallied out against William Henry Gates. He got 1,000 kills. He lost 2,000 troops the first 5 minutes. His entire army got wiped. His only units that did damage were Thorax pikemen, 1 pike unit, and his elephants. And his elephants killed most of his Thorax swords. Just on a side note. Whereas, as you can see, mine, my cavalry is the one who did the least damage. Then I have a few Numidian light infantry, which, you know, did meh. But then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that paid twice over their value. And these desert cohort still in very good shape and still ready to do a lot of damage. My cavalry, one of them got wiped out, but my general 312 kills, so I was doing really well. T, doing good for what he had. He could have used his better slingers a little bit better, but otherwise he did really well in holding the location. Yeah, Ian still had a lot of reserves left, and his Oathsworn 351 kills is not a joke. That's really cool. And he still had slingers which he didn't use. He got outranged by the enemy archers because slingers do not fire over angles. So perhaps next time, Ian, get yourself just 2 Celtic bowmen. It will help you incredibly, especially when you're going against basically the potential of 6 Cretan archers, or in this case 3 Cretan archers and Numidian bowmen over there. Thomas, 96, really good lad. He took it on the chin. He did the best in his team, and he did really well, especially his last stand. He did hold and fight for his life. Kind of like sorry that I bullied him in such a way. Ibor's 951. He also did well in his assault, although towards the end his Thorax swordsmen were getting slaughtered for free, and the Story Spears didn't do as well as they should have. His archers did good, and they mostly took out the slingers from what I can understand. Thomas's archers, unfortunately for him, he didn't get the chance to use, and that kind of precipitated the victory for us. I'm very happy with this game, and yeah, I hope that you like the what I will call the Numidian meta, the Massacre meta. It's my favorite army to play with. It's really good fun. You can deploy it wherever you want. You deploy as far away as possible. There's a version for it on land battles, which basically is that you have 4 Numidian cavalry, you have 2 desert cohort, and then the rest Numidian light infantry with chevrons. Still just as fun. Still really cool to play with, and just really, you know, it just entices different reactions from players. With that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. 50% of you are new always to the channel, so subscription for you maybe will, you know, reach 600 very soon. And if you're still watching, guys, take care out there, stay safe, and yeah, see you tomorrow, or see you tonight on my live stream. Bye bye, guys, take care.